Good morning, and thank you for finding time to being with us. Today, the show is Unfiltered, where we get to look at the week that was and some of the stories that made headlines and that we talked about over the week. And of course, this morning on the leading newspapers, we have so much continuation on some of the developing stories, especially that has to do with the preparedness of an election that is due on the 9th of August 2022, just a couple of days away, maybe about 18 or so days to our election. A very good morning to you, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in and watching us today. My name is Miriam Mugoto, and it is a pleasure to have you on board. And before I bring in my panelists, let me first bring us up to date with the latest news from the leading newspapers in the country today. We start with the Standard newspaper, locked out in Venice battle. The battle for prime rally venues, not Venice, but venues, locked out in venues battle. The battle for prime rally venues in Nairobi took a twist yesterday after DP William Ruto's team was informed that Nyayo Stadium, which it had booked and paid for, would not be available. Neither would Kasarani, this even as Junet Mohammed insisted Azimio would hold its final rally campaign call at Nyayo. The story is on page 6. And who killed Wili Kimani? Court decides. That story is on page 14. 103 billion Kenya shillings to bail out KQ. At this point, I think even Kenyans are wondering what's really going on with our national carrier. That story is on page 27, and Kenyans fight for 5,000 gold. You'll find that on the sports pages on page 42 and 43. General Kibochi, first CDF to graduate with a PhD. All right, so congratulations there to the Chief of Defense Forces, General Robert Kibochi, who gets his PhD at Kenyatta University today. Ballot chances dim further for Reuben Kigame. That story is on page 10. And then the Star newspaper, the main headline, Gachagua embroiled in 1.5 billion Kenya shilling city property row, says official fraudulently changed land ownership details. That story is on page 2. And just up there on the same story, double speak. After claiming he's worth only 800 million Kenya shillings, MP tells court he owns prime land. So that was not included in his wealth declaration that he casually shared during that debate. Okay, so polling stations with no network in 34 counties. The Electoral Commission has for the first time unveiled details of polling stations with no network coverage that has been at the center of the fierce political debate. According to the IEBC data, 1,272 polling stations are spread across 34 counties. That story is on page 4 and 5. Ruto team mulls court action in Nyayo standoff. That is on page 6. And the main pictorial, Kenyans scramble retailers ration Unga after prices drop. That is, I think, inside we shall look at what's really going on there in the politics of Unga and maize. Okay, so thank you so much. That is what we have. Perhaps also bring us up to date with the latest from across Africa, and then we'll just start on with our conversation this morning. And we look at The Guardian from the UK. Sunak goes on attack over tax as Truss takes poll lead. That is the main headline. The Daily Telegraph, no tax cuts until late next year, says Sunak. And then the Daily Monitor from Uganda, details of Mao Museveni deal. Okay, they had a sort of a handshake the other day with the opposition politician, President Museveni. And then New Vision, Mao's long walk to cabinet. There you go. And then the Herald from Zimbabwe, mining surpasses $5 billion as boom continues. And then the Newsday also from Zimbabwe, inflation wipes out government budget. And the Daily News from Tanzania, how EAC can feed itself. And I think that's a very important conversation to have right now. The Citizen also from Tanzania, Rostam Gas Farm speaks out on latest Kenya NTB. And then The Nation from Nigeria, federal government considers fresh measures to end terrorism. All right. I hope those measures will work this time. And the Guardian also from Nigeria on fiscal cliff as debt service trounces revenue. So that is what we have on some of the papers from the region and others from outside of Africa. You're now up to date. So now let me just bring in my panelists and then we start with the conversation that everybody wants to have this morning. I'm joined by Douglas Kirimi all the way from Meru County. Douglas Kirimi, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to our crew at our headquarters in Nairobi, and also to my friend Xavier Kiptanui, and also to Aresisana Talwish, and also Gradual Kerago. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they are watching us from. And thank you, Miriam, for having me on the show. Today, I'm not happy. I'm sad because of the IEBC, the Electoral Commission in the Republic of Kenya. It's a conversation that I'm waiting for. And I don't think that any right-thinking or any patriotic Kenyan is happy with the issues surrounding or controversy surrounding IEBC. Thank you.
All right. Samuel Sawish, good morning to you.
A very good morning to you indeed, Miriam Ogutu from our communication head office. Good morning to my fellow correspondents drawn from across the country, and of course all our viewers watching this program in Africa and the rest of the world.
Very well, and Gladwell Kirago, also from, is it Nairobi or Kiambu? I'm always confused where she is, because they're so near, so she's always switching. One time she's in Kiambu, and I don't know where she is today, but she will tell us. Gladwell, good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to my fellow correspondents. Good morning to our viewers. I'm coming live from Kiambu.
Oh, great. Okay. Sometimes the line is so blurry. We know that it's very close to Nairobi, so sometimes, it's easier to just go in and out. All right. Thank you so much. Kiptanui Savania, good morning to you. Coming to us from Nakuru, I suppose.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to my fellow correspondents. Good afternoon, good evening, those watching us, depending on where they are watching us. I'm coming to you live from Nakuru CBD. Thank you for having me this morning on this show.
All right, nice to have you. And we are also joined by Paul Onyango this morning. Paul, it's been a while. How are you? And a very good morning to you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Well, good morning to you, Miriam, and my fellow correspondents, and everyone watching, wherever they are, all over the world. I'm very much happy to join you this morning.
All right, so you might need to work on your audio. It's a bit low. You might need to come close or do something about, because we really want to hear your thoughts this morning. All right, so let me just get into our topic of discussion. By the way, we shall look at the IEBC and elections, food prices, the Unga politics, the ties to the food prices, and Uganda transition. And I think, well, you were listening, the headlines that I was reading from the two Uganda newspapers, the New Vision and the Daily Monitor, that handshake that happened the other day, that we shall look at that and the issues that has to do with transition, and if at all President Museveni is even ready for that. But he has been prepping his son. But that is a conversation we shall have much later. So now let's just delve into the conversation. On the Daily Nation, page 4, Venezuelan found with IEBC stickers detained at airport. That is the headline. And preparations for the upcoming elections were yesterday thrown into confusion after customs officials at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport detained suspicious election materials from a foreigner who had just arrived in the country. Venezuelan Comarco Gregoria had just landed from London, and while being cleared at 12 p.m., airport officials noticed through screening machines that he had items resembling stickers belonging to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, in his luggage. He was immediately arrested and taken to the JKIA police station for questioning and for his luggage to be searched further. The search, according to officers at the airport, found that the Venezuelan had 17 rolls of election stickers for various constituencies in his bags. IEBC officials were then called to the airport to say if they were expecting to receive any election-related material yesterday and why airport security had not been informed of the impending arrival. Because according to procedures at the JKIA, any impending arrival of important cargo by the government is communicated to airport officials in advance for proper security arrangements to be made. There was a brief standoff at security officers as security officers insisted an explanation from IEBC on why there was a breach of procedure, and officials from the electoral agency already on the spot for lack of transparency on how it is preparing for the election stood their ground, insisting that the manner in which the materials arrived in the country was above board. Additionally, detectives wanted to know why election materials considered highly confidential was not being transported as sealed cargo but by an individual, and he carried it as his personal luggage. And the IEBC is currently printing ballot papers and other materials, election-related materials in Athens, Greece, and AFOM Lycos was awarded the tender for 3 billion Kenya shillings despite protest from companies who lost the tender. So that is just a gist of that story. So let me just read from there's a letter from the DCI explaining their position and why they had to hold that person at their custody, but that person has since been released. So let me just read that and then we will continue. We will start our conversation. So, Office of the Inspector General, National Police Service, Nairobi, Kenya, press statement on the arrest of a foreigner with IEBC-related materials. Number 1, yesterday, the 21st July 2022, police officers at the JKIA arrested a foreigner entering the country with election-related stickers. Number 2, the arrest, impounding, and subsequent investigations into the material was necessitated by the sensitivity of election material and further by the following facts requiring due intelligence. A, the said stickers were not declared as per the law. B, that the stickers were not accompanied by IEBC officials as per routine procedure. C, that such sensitive materials were carried in the personal luggage of a foreigner. D, that police, as per standard procedure and arrangement with IEBC, were not notified of such an import beforehand to provide necessary security and escort. And then we go back to number 3. Subsequent investigations have revealed that the stickers are bona fide property of the IEBC and part of the election-related materials. And number 4, based on the above finding, the suspect has been released from lawful custody and the stickers released to the IEBC. And that was signed by Bruno Isohi Shioso, that is the Director Corporate Communication of police or police spokesperson, the National Police Service. Douglas Kirimi, I know you're dying to have this conversation, so I'll just start with you. This morning, IEBC knows very well the procedures, especially when it comes to very important cargo, as it is being made reference to. So, all right, I see Doctor is joining us. Doctor, good morning. All right, we continue. Okay, so yes.
Good morning, Miriam. Douglas can begin on the fire. My fire has been there for 4 years. I told you, and I told you, I have no words to say. I told you, don't cry for me, cry for yourselves. This is Chebukube. This is Chebukube, Chebutais Magendo. This is not an election. This is something you go and pick papers, come with them loudly. I told you, you people, Kenyans, don't listen. Now, cry for yourselves. This is not an election. For me, it is just a fiasco. Miriam, look, it is like Chebukube Magendo. Chebukati comes from Chebukube. So he has actually taken this game too far. He's buying things from Uganda and smuggling coffee. This it reminds me of smuggling of coffee those days during Idi Amin. You remember? None of you were born those days of Idi Amin. But let me tell you, there was something called Chebukube Soko ya Magendo, which is actually near Chebukati's compound. So Chebukati is just simply practicing a very bad behavior. And casually, he comes up to walk like he's just some stupid thing walking around. Chebukati should be in committee. I'm telling you Kenyans, listen to me, you remember my voice. I told you. This election, if you hear some other things, I can't tell you more details here, where I am now in the basement somewhere, because these threats are becoming real. You can see we have now put on even bulletproof jackets. This is a very serious situation that we have to tell the world. This is bad. These guys, we have blown them up. You see, Miriam, ask one thing from, you just ask one question. Mr. Chebukati, where is the cargo manifest? Miriam, haven't I been asking for 4 weeks? It's almost a month. I've been asking for a cargo manifest. There's no Kenyan journalist who has followed the cargo manifest of the ballots. Where did they come from? Where are they being printed? Who is printing them? The cargo manifest of the ballots that came in came from a different country origin. The cargo manifest shows the origin of the cargo. Can Chebukati bring the origin of the cargo? That's it. The cargo manifest. Let anybody in Kenya insist on cargo manifest. Sir, you see, it is like, I think I better fly to London and also come with stickers. Sure, IEBC does not have. Miriam, IEBC does not have money to put the stickers in a well packaged, sealed with seals. Some Bazungu are just landing at the airport with surely a country with that says we are doing democracy. The hope of Africa. The hope of Africa is Kenya, and it is handling elections with some two Bazungu carrying their papers in their bags with toilet paper and everything, and plus their uchafu wanabeba na uchafu wanakuja nayo, that they are going to do elections in a third world country. Miriam, my dear sisters and the brothers on this panel, Emperor Julius Caesar said, when I die, don't cry for me. Cry for the Roman Empire. I don't know whether the wish who comes on and off on platforms and disappeared. You have a case with me, how to answer. You disappeared from my platform, which was hot yesterday. When you come, when I die, don't cry for my death. Cry for Africa. Julius Caesar said so. I'm saying so. That don't cry. I have gone to meet some other billion miles. I don't know where. I will go. But cry for Africa. We have a problem. Even we are watching. Kiptanui, we are watching this. We have been watching this. And we have been telling government officials, Kibicho and others, it is a tip-off from serious international intelligence system that two men have handled your Kenyan material. They are on the flight.
Very true.
This is coming from other friends of Kenya. But the people here, whom we have been telling, and the Chebukati has frightened all of them. You know, when Chebukati writes a statement, people think that he knows English, and they fear him. Well, you know, Miriam, you Kenyans have a habit of fearing these guys. People used to fear. People used to fear Ocampo, until I wrestled Ocampo. Everybody feared Ocampo, including the president Kibaki, the late by then. Ocampo has come in town, closed the office, the motorcade on Uhuru Highway. Nobody could question Ocampo. What type of work are you doing? How are you doing it? This Matanga stood up and questioned Ocampo. I'm not afraid of controversy. If Chebukati thinks I am interfering with his work, let him produce the cargo manifest. Inamshike hapo. Imemshika hapo. Cargo manifest. Ana original cargo manifest ya ballots iko wapi? You are not going to manufacture it today, Mr. Chebukati. We got copies a long time ago. And this is one of the grounds for nullification of these elections. There are no elections here, Miriam. You put me to a subject, I'm answering your questions. Thank you. Douglas can go on. If there are any questions for me to answer now, I'm here. But I'm telling you,
yes.
I am telling you, my sisters and brothers on the panel, we have a very big challenge. And if the government does not, let the government just scrap this election. A constitution is not written in a hard stone of Red Sea, where the Pharaoh was chasing the Israelis, the Jews, and then the water is separated, and then you can not change the journey. A constitution can say elections will be held on 9th. But Miriam, what we can do now at the moment, the way I see things, my sister, you know, the way I see things right now, the best thing is cancel these elections, prepare afresh, let the candidates be given more time, strict guidelines, let stakeholders sit down and agree on who should conduct their elections. This election is a mafia election. It's not an election for anybody to talk about. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll come back later.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Doc, very much for that. So as Doctor has highlighted some issues there, but also what we are gathering this morning, especially from that letter from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, a couple of things, but mainly because it is expected when such very sensitive cargo is coming from outside the country, coming into the country, it was supposed to be accompanied by an IEBC official from Kenya. That was not the case. And also it was supposed, the airport officials were supposed to be notified so that they're able to, it's able to be provided for with the security that it's required of it. But, you know, IEBC did not find it necessary to follow such laid down procedures. So, Douglas.
Thank you, Miriam. I believe that Dr. David Matanga said that the only good thing President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration can gift us, the people of Kenya, in the next 17 days is to ask any relevant government authority to facilitate the postponement of this election, whereas we, the people of Kenya, would have wanted to go and vote for our favorite presidential candidates and also local leaders and all that. Miriam, we understand that people have also gone out of their way to spend their resources to become members of parliament, president, and all that. But the peace of this country, the well-being of the people, the welfare, and also we, the people, our public good is more important than any election in this country. Remember, we could have postponed the 2007 election, and this country would have been better than it was. A beacon of democracy and the peace and tranquility was turned into a chaotic scene where people lost their lives because two people were competing to be president of the Republic of Kenya. Today, one man has already gone to his maker after a peaceful transition, and also other people are also on the floor running for president of the Republic of Kenya. The two friends in 2007 are the main protagonists in this election. Today are antagonists for the same. But when for the presidential seat. But when Chebukati tells us that he has sunk billions of dollars in this election, taxpayers' money and donor funding, and that he cannot deliver a free, transparent, and credible election, it leaves nothing to write home, Miriam. I have written to write home about Wafula Chebukati, whose tenure at IEBC has marred with irregularities and bungled elections, especially 2017. I thought Wafula Chebukati would have learned his lessons. After 5 years, Wafula Chebukati is just sending people who is claiming to be officials of the company as Mathematic International, and also when we are supposed to also have a very clear election, an election without any irregularity. Wafula Chebukati comes to the fore, Miriam, and gives us an opportunity to nullify this election. Over 2 years ago, or 1.5 years ago, Chebukati said that IEBC is technically incapable of conducting this election. And Miriam, technicalities have also been experienced in this election. But
Okay, so we have suffered a bit of a technical hitch there, Douglas, from your part. So I'll just bring in Samuel Tawish. But before I bring in Samuel Tawish, let me read a press release also by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Earlier on, I brought you that one by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations that are responsible for the
this
arrest.
election cannot be free.
Douglas, we're having a bit of a technical hitch, so just wait one moment. Let me just read this press release that was released yesterday by the IEBC. It is with extreme consternation that the Commission has learnt of the arrest of 3 key personnel responsible for deployment and management of election technology infrastructure. The 3 personnel who were employees of Smartmatic International BV were arrested upon arrival at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport from Venezuela. This is despite the Commission Secretary, or the CEO, explaining to the security authorities that the 3 personnel were in the country to execute a lawful contract relating to the deployment of technology in elections. The Commission has a valid legal contract executed between itself and Smartmatic International BV for the supply, delivery, installation, testing and commissioning, support and maintenance of the Kenya Integrated Election Management System. The brazen decision of the security authorities to arrest, detain and confine in solidarity, hide out the 3 personnel without justification is an exhibition of intimidation on hardworking persons who are only keen to deliver a robust technology infrastructure for conduct of credible, secure and verifiable election. The Commission wishes to inform the public that the arrest and continued holding of the personnel has the inevitable effect of hampering the deployment of technology in the forthcoming general election. Technology plays a central role in elections, and the Commission wonders what the intention behind the holding of the technical personnel is meant to achieve. The Commission is concerned about this unjustified intimidation, harassment and blackmail whatsoever, and demands the immediate release of the 3 employees of Smartmatic International BV. It has been signed by Chebukati, the chairperson of Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Douglas, we suffered a bit of a technical hitch. We lost you there for a few moments, but I'll come back to you. I want to go to Samuel Tawish. This new development.
Miriam, and at the onset, allow me to concur with the sentiments that have been brought forth by the previous speakers, including one, Dr. David Masanga. And Miriam, I can tell you for sure that IEBC is preparing this country for anarchy. I'm saying so, Miriam, because when you look into how IEBC is preparing itself ahead of this election, it can quite prove that it is not adequately prepared to handle this election. Or if it is prepared, then they are not prepared to give us a free, fair, and credible poll. Miriam, it is not possible that such a very sensitive and critical component of our democracy, that is election, and the election materials which are supposed to be handled with a lot of care, also involving the security apparatus in the country, that IEBC is just handling such matters so casually and even trying to reprimand the security apparatus for taking such actions. Because again, Miriam, tomorrow, just like Dr. Masanga said, what will hinder a Kenyan to go to court and petition even the outcome of this particular election that we are going to have, if at all we are going to have it in August? Because again, Miriam, such a recipe for people to reject the outcome of this election. And if IEBC is not going to be very careful, then they are just but creating enough ground for people or fodder for those who want to oppose or even to petition the outcome of this particular election, Miriam. And I fully concur that probably IEBC is not really prepared to handle this election. And that's why they're doing things haphazardly. And therefore, they should just own up and say they need more time for them to be able to prepare for this election, because nobody can quite explain, just like Dr. Masanga has asked, how come that such very sensitive documents do not have even just come to the country so casually? The cargo is not sealed. People are just carrying these very, very important and crucial documents in their bags, and there's no information to anybody, including the security apparatus, the officials at the port of entry, that there's certain very sensitive and critical documents coming through, of course, the JKIA. They should have informed the officials at the JKIA if at all it's genuine. So to me, Miriam, this proves that IEBC is engaging, or rather is engaged in a sinister game. There's a lot of mischief being played by IEBC, probably with the assistance of some political players or political operatives in the country, to make sure that we do not have a free, fair, and credible election altogether come the August of 9. Miriam, for me, I think it is just time that IEBC, through its chair, Wafula Chebukati, comes out openly to own up and say they're not prepared. Because again, you listen to, you've quite read the presser that he gave yesterday, alleging that these Venezuelans who are coming to the country are going to play, or are supposed to play, a very critical role in as far as setting up the ICT or something infrastructure in as far as this election is concerned. So if these people are going to play such a very critical role, how come that IEBC did not bother or did not actually take the effort even to inform the security apparatus, especially at the JKIA, that IEBC is expecting certain documents and is expecting certain nationals, from which country and for what purpose, what time are they going to be in the country, and what is it exactly they're going to do? Because Miriam, I can tell you for sure, the security also has its own role to play. Assuming those people come to the country and they are injured or they are killed, God forbid, it is the Kenyan security docket that will be answering to the Venezuelan government. So I think the security apparatus did quite a good job. Those people behind bars or whichever place they have been put, so that we can be able to be told what exactly they are coming for, what mission, and how long they are going to do this work here in Kenya, Miriam. That said, I can tell you, just like Dr. Masanga said, and this has become more like really a song we've been singing here, that we suspect highly IEBC is not adequately prepared to handle this election. And they're also looking but for excuses, just to say probably the government has destabilized the operation by giving the excuses of the Venezuelans who have been arrested. So we want to see IEBC through its chair come out and openly tell Kenyans how come that these people came into the country without the information of the government, without them telling us exactly why they are keeping it a top secret when these people are coming into the country. Do they want to put up as a parallel agenda? Do they want to, are they playing at the behest of certain political parties or individuals in this country as we head into this critical election? These are questions that IEBC must come out and answer to Kenyans. But as it is today, Miriam, we lauded the interior docket and the officials at the JKIA for the action they took. I submit.
Mm-hmm. And I think this brings us to a point where we remember in March this year, there was a multi-sectoral committee that was set up to ensure that a smooth election preparedness that consisted of the judiciary. I think Martha Koome, the head of the judiciary, was part of that. IEBC and some security, Ministry of Interior and other agencies, because they wanted everybody on board that is concerned with the preparation of these elections. And IEBC was really opposed to that. Matter of fact, it removed itself from that multi-sectoral committee. So if at all IEBC was part of that, that is perhaps when he would have alerted, the IEBC would have alerted the rest of stakeholders that we expect, this is what is happening, or an update, so that nobody is caught unawares, and the DCI, is not holding these persons apparently who are part of the election preparedness.
Sorry, Miriam, if you allow me the latitude, Miriam. The question we are also not asking IEBC, do we have two parallel nations or countries or where these election materials are being procured from? Because in my understanding and the understanding of the Kenyan public is that the election materials, in as far as the August 9th election is concerned, have been procured from Greece. And I even understand that some IEBC officials and stakeholders, including representatives from...
Hold the fire. This is a discussion on Friday. let all of us come in. Miriam, hold this. Hold that fire there. Look, Miriam, Tawish, ask one question. Where is the cargo manifest? And that's the point you are making. Ask the IEBC where these papers printed in Athens, in Paris, in London, in Rome, in Uganda printing press in Nachivuvu, where? Or in Venezuela. Miriam, this is Gladwell, the rest of you, Kiptanui and Paul and Nyango, come in where you feel the point is itching you. Don't leave us to talk only. Come in, because this is a discussion on Fridays, unfiltered, like any other day. We are not broadcasting like that. We broadcast, come in and talk. The answers are here. We are discussing. Let's not be like we are in a classroom. Thank you. Tawish, that's a good point. Where are the papers? Where is the manifest? To party a manifest. I hope you people who Google manifest, you have Googled it already. Miriam, what is a manifest? It is a document that shows the contents, the origin of any vessel that leaves place A to place B. Chebukati brought the ballot papers without a cargo manifest. But the original cargo manifest of the papers don't read Athens, where the company called Lycos is located. So we are having papers dropping in as some hand luggage. Surely, is a country called Kenya has hand luggage documents someone just carries casually? Akiamungu, casually. Which country? What is going on here in this country? Yes.
Let me come in. Somebody has asked a very simple question. These two guys, Venezuelans who are arrested at the JKIA, were supposed to come and actually set these schemes. Why were they? Why now? What is the relationship between schemes and these stickers? They were supposed to come and set these schemes. So there is a deliberate scheme that Chebukati is telling us. These guys were coming here to set these IEBC schemes. But they are carrying materials. So that is what it is worrying us so much.
And Tawish, before as you continue, there's also information which I'm now filtering. I'm in a police bunker somewhere where I'm filtering information for you. This is what is happening. Ask Chebukati and ask the world, ask the people where we are right now. Tell me, where's the worker permit for the two people? Where's the worker permit? Can IEBC show us the worker permit? You know, they cannot just come in and start operating on equipment of the state security communication systems without prior worker permits. Continue, Tawish. Meona hapo, mambo, more things are now coming out. So let's discuss. Let's Kiragu, stop keeping quiet until you are reached. We want to have an exchange of Friday. Yes.
Before Tawish comes in, let me say these Venezuelans, to be honest, they are world-renowned hackers. That is for true. They are world-renowned hackers. And unfortunately that Wafula Chebukati has chosen to work with such cartels. And our dog have actually decided to be just like you. The only difference, I don't have a bulletproof. It has been actually, some people have seen Wafula Chebukati even past midnight leaving the current home, whereby they have been having discussions. Which kind of discussions? Again, these document stickers, whom were they being taken to? These are the questions we should be asking. Whom were these stickers being taken to, Doc? And maybe you can answer us that one. Whom were they being taken to?
Miriam, the things come back to you. We want to generate a discussion, not the normal Yes, go ahead.
The next
Tawisha.
person wants to come in, yeah.
I think, Dr. Generally, there's a lot of variants and reports that do not reconcile when it comes to the position that IEBC is giving us as regards to these Venezuelans who are arrested at the JKIA. Because again, Kipton Lui has asked a very, very critical question, which IEBC must then come forth and answer. That how come these officials were arrested with some stickers, yet they were coming to test the kids' kits? Because these are totally two different things. We need to understand exactly why these people were coming into the country. Dr. Masanga has asked a very important question. Do they have a work permit? Because for any foreigner who is coming into the country, they must actually be able to source or procure a work permit in the country, and same must be done by the government of Kenya for them to be allowed into the country, how long they are going to be here, what kind of job are they going to do. So I think Chebukati has more really to more to answer to the people of Kenya in terms of these Venezuelans who are coming. Kiragu has also brought a very important question, a very important point, that these are world-renowned hackers. And if IEBCs bring on board these people as to play a very critical, quote-unquote, a very critical part of this particular important exercise of the election that we are going to have. Does it mean he's in bed with some politicians to see into it how this election is going to be compromised? By the end of the day, it's the Kenyan people who are going to suffer. The Kenyan people are asking nothing short of a free, fair, and credible election. And if Chebukati is not ready to guarantee that, as it's proving, then he should just own up and say the commission led by himself is not adequately prepared to conduct this election, so that they're given more time. Even if it's a year, we're not going to die because the election has been postponed for a year or so, Dr. Masanga and Miriam. Because again, the issue of having election every second Tuesday of August or on the 9th of August after every 5 years, Miriam, is not cast in stone. These are just, this is just constitutionalism that we can be able to edit as long as it's in the best interest of the people of Kenya. In my own considered opinion, Miriam, this commission led by Chebukati is not prepared to conduct this election, and it is high time they own up.
Next person.
Can I have something to contribute?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead, Paul, and please be audible.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. From time immemorial, I have a problem with the commission, the way they're handling issues around election. My question to Chebukati, these technicians or we call them technocrats of KEMS, does it mean in Kenya we cannot have people available? We need to import people from Venezuela, I don't know how to call it, the state that is under siege. Chebukati is going to bring a lot of confusion, and I'd even told Chebukati on this platform that he should prepare to go to jail. We cannot take this kind of circus. He has littered everywhere. The election circus, since from the time he started awarding contracts concerning electoral materials to other companies. Chebukati has littered everywhere with all mistakes, with all no procedure, laws are not followed, people are being brought in. There's no channel Chebukati is following at all. So I do not know the end point. When we reach the 9th, what are we going to expect to happen to the election? Because the failure of KEMS case, we saw it from before 2013, the kids failed. 2017, they failed. Now again, we expect them to fail again. And also, when we look at the choosing of the electoral officers, returning officers at every polling stations, 20% of those came from one community, and they were stationed. They had been distributed along Kisii area, western area, and some parts of central. What does that one see? What does that one show? There's a pointer to which Chebukati, he wants to create a mess around the election such that it's not being blamed, but it's the one creating room for all these things to happen. So the best thing for these elections, it is up us Kenyans to rise up. We either force Chebukati out and let somebody conduct the election, because where we are heading, we are not going to get the result. We might end up fighting again. That's my take.
All right, someone else.
And Miriam, before another person comes in, I generate another debate. Usually, officers who come to work here on projects have worker permits. The latest event coming from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Immigration, these guys had no worker permit. Sorry, Kenyans, listen to me. This is becoming very interesting. They have no worker permits. They could be assassins coming to assassinate people, mercenaries. They have no worker permits that allow them to be handling any equipment of the Republic of Kenya in terms of communication. Because this election is a government election, is an election that touches equipment. When they have no worker permits, you think Chiroba is going to allow them to go to their tower, the communication tower, and fix some equipment? Miriam, have you asked yourself that? You think Chiroba, who doesn't even want to see this man, Wafula Chebukati, can allow men without worker permits? I've just revealed another information that has come from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Immigration Department. The immigration is again arresting these guys any minute as we speak. They don't have worker permits. Venezuelans are supposed to have a worker permit to come here. They don't have a worker permit. It is a sorry state. That's your election. Don't cry for me. Cry for Jerusalem children. That's another debate. Worker permit is supposed to be there. People coming in with hand luggage. You know, you need to go with 5 people. I think we shall go as Punchline TV, 5 of us. Then we land with some equipment here and there. Then there is another serious information, William, as we finish that way. Something again has come, Mudavadi. Thank you.
Okay, another person? Anyone who wants to come in?
We can see Javani Karanja. Javani Karanja has joined in. Javani Karanja, do you have anything to say right now? Okay, Tanu.
Miriam, there's Miriam and the rest of the panel. There is something else it's coming to my mind. Why do you think this gentleman called Chebukati was so much mad when we asked him that we will be having a manual register, and he was insisting for electronic one? Why do you think these people are bragging so much that they have the Davis Chichiri's ICT guru? Why do you think the other wing of the Kenya Kwanza, who are also contesting for this presidential, are supporting IEBC and telling us wachaneni na IEBC, we don't interfere? Why are they not condemning these people who are arrested coming with these stickers? Thank you.
And also, why is it that His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, is keeping quiet? Can we ask those questions? Because now it has come to our notice that the Kenyans are on their own. I don't think Raila would have allowed this. No. There is something which I am. Yes.
I want to encourage all of you who are in this panel: Miriam, Gladwell, Douglas, Jeffan, Tarwish, and you. Take care. Take care. You must be where you are yourself. If you can be able to afford what you are wearing right now, you people, you need to take care, because anything can happen to you. Be careful. Take care.
Don't worry. Don't scare me. I and Tawish, we have always had these threats under Miriam. So don't worry about that. We're seasoned men, and don't when you worry, if you Kiragu might run off. Kiragu, by the way, Kiptanui, we are more worried about you because you are in the Rift Valley.
Very true. I can be skinned anytime.
No, don't. We are more worried about you because you are in the Rift Valley. For us, we know Ruto's weaknesses of killing witnesses, so we are used to it. You know, yeah. But God also keeps other people. But you see, there is one thing, Miriam, that when you go to kill people, you must also leave room. You might be killed. Did you know that? Do you know that why most of the thieves, Miriam, kill the people is because the thief has looked, the person has looked in the eyes, said, hey, you Kiptanui, I didn't expect you to. But if the thief has entered your house, Miriam, and you people on the panel, he says, bring the watch, bring this, just give and keep quiet. Don't mention his name even if you know it. Because there now, he knows, he did not come to kill you. But he came, Miriam, he came to do one thing. He wanted to steal your property. Let him take the property, they will spare you. But if you say, David Matanga, surely, I didn't know that Mzee, you could come here at night to kill me, to steal my things. Let them go. You keep quiet. They will leave you. But the moment you mention the name of one of them is when things go bad. So for now, don't worry. We are, you know, some stations are not talking out facts. And Wafula himself, you see what is helping us here on the panel is that whatever we are talking is coming up. Every day there is another story. Every day there is another story. You know, this one is now finished. Tomorrow, ballot boxes themselves, someone will arrive with them from Malava. You know, this thing is becoming very interesting. Another arrival from Malava Obusia in trailer. Then for us, what time will you have to look for Miriam to kill him or her? No, there is more chaos there. Wait, by tomorrow, there will be another problem. By tomorrow, Monday, Wafula would have had another scandal. It's like Mudavadi going to collect money from the US, then leave footmarks, hallmarks everywhere, Dubai, where he passed everywhere. Now the money has been identified somewhere. Look, it is stupidity. That's when he comes with that big stomach, that David, Uru, where? These are some idiots in this country. Like Mudavadi is an idiot, kabisa. Mtu mbaya sana. He left a hallmark footprints that I went to US for an urgent assignment. Where Mudavadi? You are even a person like you, your father must be rolling in the grave actually. To have seen you going to do some errands for a thief. The father was a very big person who could ken you. Left full footmarks, Dubai, banks, even in one country. At the moment, one country is having a Tawish and a Miriam, and all of you, one country is having very difficulties of finding dollars. Because the money that was injected in that country or bypassed the amount of money in those banks. So everybody looked, when they wanted to buy dollar became difficult. You can't get it. And very soon, if you don't see the rally in somewhere near there, Chebukube, where, then you know. Thank you very much. I've just given you a lead. Go ahead. They were bankrupt. That's why they were not talking too much. Now, from next week, utawaona, they are going to insult Uhuru like hell. But the worst thing is that, you see, it is very bad to have a wife who pretends to be a Christian. And says she's a Bible when she goes to sign for money, which is well known, kept outside in her names. What type of Christianity are these two people telling the world? Let me die by praying in my bedroom. Thank you. It's unfiltered, isn't it? I thought it was unfiltered, but Tanui bringing us a threat. We are not worried. We are ready. Maybe I'm back to you.
Well,
bring the next topic.
Okay. All right, Jevon, I don't know if you'd like to say something on that before we move on to something else.
There's Javan Karanja. I don't know why he has waited on the Javan. Are you listening to us? Are you with us, or you are just knocking in presence?
Okay, so we will move on if he's not available. So we go to our next topic, that is on food prices, and I think we can tie that with the Unga politics. And there's a story on page 5. I'll just read on the background, and then anyone can come in and start the conversation for us. Deputy President William Ruto yesterday said the reduced maize flour price was a ploy to entice Kenyans to vote for the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition flag bearer Raila Odinga. Addressing supporters in Lamu and Tana River counties, he accused the government of failing to address inflation in good time. He said the government has responsibility to cushion Kenyans from irregular price hikes and should stop playing politics with food. Unga was 230 Kenya shillings. Then one day, Mr. Raila Odinga goes to a rally and says he will talk to President Kenyatta to reduce the price. In a few hours, the price drops. That was scripted, he told a rally in Hola. The DP, Ruto, said the move confirms the stand of Kenya Kwanza Alliance that the high cost of living has nothing to do with the war in Ukraine, but rather state capture to benefit a few billionaires. He said the government should stop mocking Kenyans who deserve better from the leaders. So according to Ruto, he told President Uhuru Kenyatta this drop in prices, it's too little, too late. But the last we checked, Kenyans were flocking the supermarkets to try and stock on that unga and take advantage of the lower prices. So anybody can start us with a conversation.
Miriam, I think it is foolhardy and it's very stupid of Deputy President William Ruto to come out and castigate President Uhuru Kenyatta for the move he made to cushion Kenyans who have been suffering because of the high cost of living, and particularly the high cost of the maize flour in the country. What I wonder so much, Miriam, is how come that the DP is complaining about the reduced prices of the maize flour, as though this maize flour is being targeted the Azimio la Umoja supporters only. There are things that come out from the DP and the brigade, the Kenya Kwanza brigade, that you start wondering and asking yourself questions. How come that someone will say this is more of bolstering supporters from Azimio la Umoja in support of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in as far as the coming election is concerned? This is a gesture that the president has made generally to cushion Kenyans out of the high cost of living so that people can be able to put food on the table. It has nothing to do with Azimio la Umoja. This is the government of Kenya making such a decision, and it's a government that Deputy President William Ruto himself is serving as the second in command. So if he says that it's about the voting the Azimio la Umoja, then he should then resign to destiny or fate that the government of Kenya, which is serving, has decided then to support former Prime Minister Raila Odinga.
They did the same in 2017 when the price of Unga was up and the government had to take such a measure. So what is different this time that he feels should not have been done?
In fact, thank you so much for tickling my memory about that, because I remember also in the run-up to 2017 elections, Miriam, we got to a point where the government, when you went to the supermarkets or to the shops to buy unga, you could get that unga, the 2 kg packet written the government of Kenya. which was reduced actually, I think, to 80 something or 90 something shillings, so that the Kenyan people can be cushioned from this high cost of course, purchasing this very, very essential commodity. We all appreciate and understand that ugali is a staple food for most Kenyans, if not all. And when the government makes such kind of a gesture, I think the people with right minds and people of goodwill, people who mean well for this country, and especially those who are serving in this government, should be at the forefront, coming out and lauding President Uhuru Kenyatta for that. But I understand where Deputy President William Ruto is coming from. I understand his struggles. His struggle is that he expected he was going to have to capitalize on the hunger that most Kenyans are going through, or the lack of money to purchase unga to go and prepare ugali, so that he can be able to give them these stipends, give them these handouts, and of course, cannibalize them into thinking that is the person who is the best fit really to address their issues. So when he sees the president making such kind of a gesture, he becomes so much frustrated. He thinks like what he has been capitalizing on as a campaign agenda and tool all along. You could clearly see everywhere the DP goes and his brigade, they are only but talking about the price of unga. Mudavadi, when he goes to Western, he talks about the price of unga. Wetangula, the same thing, and the entire brigade, entire Kenya Kwanza brigade. How come that they're not now telling the president, thank you for making or listening to our cry? Because I've been listening them coming out and saying, please, Mr. President, make an intervention so that the price of unga can come down. When the president makes such kind of a move, again, they are criticizing and castigating him. These are people who are perfect in doublespeak. We should not take them serious, Miriam, especially at a time when we are getting into an election. These are people who do not mean well for this country. I think they are dancing onto people who cannot put food on the table. They would rather people die of hunger, or rather people are frustrated so that they create a state of disaffection and despondency towards President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee administration. I submit.
All right, anybody else? You can come in.
Miriam,
Go ahead, Glado.
Miriam, let me start by saying that, at times Kenyans, we tend to be ungrateful. And by saying so, I'm not actually meaning the real Kenyans, because actually the deputy president has made it clear that he is actually accusing the government. So he's also part of he's actually part of the hustler movement. And Miriam, yesterday I wish you were in Githurai and see the flocks of people who are actually in the supermarket actually buying unga. And the unga was actually finished up by around 4 a.m. There was no unga in Naiva supermarket. So Miriam and Kenyans are very grateful. Again, Miriam, this unga is not for the only Azimio people. It is for everybody in Kenya. And you know why he's at? Is because his narrative, the hustler, that when I get into power, I will actually lower food prices. He has nothing to say any longer, and that's why he's at. So can he stop politicizing unga? Can he stop politicizing food? Actually, you can't joke with what the people actually relying on, and most of food, Miriam.
Okay. Onyango, I don't know if
Miriam.
yeah.
I have an issue with the way our system of governance, especially things to do with food security, food storage, and food distribution. If you look at history since 2002 general election, coming down until now, we are in another general election. Every time we are nearing election, especially the cost of flour normally rise to an unprecedented level. For this one we can probably say because of other issues affecting the world economy, not only our case. But I feel our Kenyan government, the way they are managing food security, distribution, and storage has been wanting. There's one comment I had from the former agriculture Recruiter of Kirwa, said during Grand Coalition government, Ruto, when he was agriculture minister, he managed to take a few colleagues in parliament and some unscrupulous businessmen, such that they can fix the price of this commodity called flour or maize to the millers. So my problem also with the way the government is also dealing with the millers. The millers have become part of the cartel that some few politicians, inflation politicians, are using them to make sure that the majority of Kenyans who are depending on flour are being, for lack of a better word, maybe they are being what they are doing is to exploit the general public. Most of us cannot afford the flour. Many people in rural areas, many areas are not doing well. Just a few areas that we have this commodity being produced. But a larger part of Kenya, maize is not grown largely. There are areas that is only pastoralism that's going on. So it is upon the government, from what we are been experiencing, they make a swift action in future government such that this commodity called flour, it does not become part of politics. It is quite bad and very absurd in Africa that we can make food to be part of the politics of election. It's very bad. It's a very bad character. If the Kenyan politicians can make food to be part of what we do, we are discussing how the price of food. These are things that we need to do ourselves and ensure that food is not part of. Maybe we can talk about a different thing altogether. That's my take.
Mm-hmm. Kiptanui, you wanted to come in?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Miriam. Miriam, as we discussed the other time, there must be a problem somewhere for sure. As my brother Paul has said, Miriam, in 2000, that was back 2009. Remember, before the Grand Coalition government, between 2002 and 2007, Ibu Pilo was minister for agriculture. And he laid all the structures. He did all the best in North trips, up to the level of maize, fertilizer, and everything. So this is the guy who is speaking with a lot of experience. And when this guy, one man from Suga, took over, he messed up everything, Miriam. You know, recently he asked people from North, why are you depending on this base? Let us do what we call diversification. Let us go for avocados. Miriam, do you know the reason? So that we will be having artificial insufficient maize, artificial shortage of this maize, because most of the people are depending on this flour. So immediately there is an artificial. We'll actually import from Congo. We've been accused that it's actually farming in Congo, and the government, that's why he's so bitter. That's why he's running all over the country saying, Russia in Asia. So this is the guy who laid these structures, Miriam, in 2017. Immediately, you remember there was a talk show in Citizen TV. And that is Boshole, who happened to be women representative of Wasi. She said, we immediately took over. We didn't know that this election would be nullified. We started preparation to prepare our William Ruto for 2022 general election. So Miriam, whatever this guy capitalized on it has been unmasked. That is why he is now becoming a fitter man. And I want to ask you this very simple question to all Kenyans and everybody in this panel. Gladly you live near to those ghettos. If these people in Kenya are seriously having good plans for this country, and as they are calling themselves hustlers, if I go to the shop today, I buy Unga, 250 shillings, and tomorrow I go to the same shop, I buy the same Unga at 100 shillings as an hustler. What will I say? Thank you. I will tell you what was happening here in Abu yesterday is that people are so grateful. They have changed their mind. Thank you so much. You've actually assisted us so much. People are taking Unga tano, and this is supermarket reduced to, you are not taking 5, you are taking 4. So Miriam, you have taken 4. You give your daughter or your son some money to go and buy. People bought a lot of stuff. So let us not actually fear to unmask this cartel, to unmask these people. They have no good plans for this country in future. They want to mess up this country because they want to capitalize on their stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Miriam.
Okay, and this is what the DP said again. I'll just quote what the newspaper has said on page 5 on the Daily Nation. They increased the price of maize flour so that they could fund Mr. Odinga's campaign and benefit a few rich friends, and now they're reducing the price so that you can vote them to power. And I think just making reference to what happened in 2017, perhaps maybe what a lot of Kenyans are asking when he makes such statements, is that what happened in 2017 when the prices of Unga skyrocketed? Were they trying to fund their campaign elections and have a few of them enriching themselves? Because we remember maize coming from Mexico in a record time to this country. So would he perhaps mind explaining to Kenyans why he thinks this is the case, and maybe tell us what happened in 2017? Anybody can come in.
Yeah.
Anybody can come in. I'm not picking names. Anybody can come in and give their thoughts. Okay, so Doc, you can go ahead.
Let me come in. If actually you start spreading propaganda that the food prices and Unga was skyrocketed because we want to fund these campaigns of Right Honorable Odinga, it is shameful. It is so shameful because people are no longer buying this narrative. These are the last things of a dying dandy. These are the narratives. These are one of the narratives that has been peddled around this country. You see, yesterday, these guys were at that time when they indicted Aveta, they're asking, if you are sure you bought this land, give us the receipts. Why? And nobody has also actually mentioned you. So these people are bringing the narrative that nobody is going to actually buy this narrative. It is no longer sellable. It is no longer sellable. One time, I was asking One time, Miriam, when I was in Kericho, I asked somebody, serious man, to tell me why is it that in 2007 they baptized Raila Arab Leader, but now the things have changed. He told me, let me tell you one thing, my son, nothing has ever changed. That is the same guy we believe in him. This is the same guy. We baptized him, and I want to assure you this one thing, Miriam. William Ruto and Raila Odinga have worked in 2007. They have worked. So these are the people, they know each other. They know each other. They know what, if I strike this, I go this. If I strike this, I go this. If I strike this, I go this. So when William Ruto came up with this narrative of Hustler Nation, he wanted to paint, it was Hustlers versus diners. He wanted to paint the other group that these people have stolen, these people have actually amassed a lot of wealth in this country, and they have made every one of you to be poor. That was radicalization of the youth, radicalization of the poor people here. And when he realized that this narrative is no longer selling, you know that the narrative did not sell because of one thing. I thank God because of our brothers and who are recently in court. And masking what this gentleman has done there. Douglas was there at that Hotel Dolphin. I think also there are some people in this country who are following what we are speaking here. That is why when he was there was Peter. He said, later receipt you also bought this thing. So it is so clear, my brothers and sisters, that it is no longer sellable. Now, whatever they wanted to capitalize on it was Unga. Now the Unga is over. What do we do? Miriam, yesterday you saw their press conference about the stadiums that we had already cooked. And the man who was so confident is Mr. Nanok, who has been accused of embezzling a lot of money. Nanok is about Nanok, Miriam maybe the next week, but he will be arrested. And I was asking myself, why is it that all these scandals we have our people who bear these names, Miriam? given opportunity, I can swear an affidavit and change my name from Kiptanui because it has become a very bad application. Wherever you've been mentioned in this scandal, the name from our community appears. So it is a problem. And why do you think also my people, these people are regrouping? Eh? All of them are going to this association, all of them are going to Kenya Kwanza, and they have a lot of scandals, starting from the base, starting from everything. So which means when you steal enough, you just go there for protection fee. So let us be careful. In the next government, Miriam, let us put structures. Let us make sure every maize that is landing in these NCCVs, where is it coming from? Miriam, I was in Westbridge one of the fine days I think in November, and it happened that I talked to few farmers. Miriam, somebody has been in 14 days for laini kama hapa paka Nairobi mwaga mahindi yake. When you ask what is the problem, let me tell you, nimehangaishwa sana, ninaambiwa I'm being told that moisture is very high, iko na maozo ni zile mahindi yenye asikuliki. But what is happening? Some people, some trailers, matrela mingi sana zinatoka mahali pengine zinakwenda zinamwaga mahindi. So that Miriam, by the time farmers who are growing this maize are taking their farm produce, which is maize in nutrient to this cereal NCCV stores, it is already flooded with maize from where they don't know the prices in the sugar, and that is the problem. So the same maize is being sold to the millers. Millers also are cartel. So I don't know what are we going to do, but it is my prayer that when we take over, when Raila Odinga will take over, because that is the guy we have confidence in him. Let him put the structures, let us jail these people, Miriam, and that is my submission.
All right, thank you. Anybody else can just chime in?
Miriam, let me start by saying that our country, we are blessed and we have resources and foodstuffs, because I know of a farmer actually who harvests so much but has no market to take our foods. But what happens when you allow some of these cartels to import meat, the GMO, which can't even be consumed? Actually, and that's why I always say, can we learn to actually empower our farmers? Because if we empower our farmers, Miriam, we can't be in a crisis that we are in. I've told you, I know of a farmer who actually has maize in the granary but has nowhere to take them. What if the government decides to empower farmers? Then we'll be far much better, and we stop this politicizing of food. That is wrong and that is bad, Miriam.
Any other person before we move on to our next and final topic? Tawish, do you want to say something before we move on to our next topic?
You noticed I've been hesitant to make more commentary on this because the previous speakers have almost exhausted everything. But I think by and large, the most important thing we need to do as Kenyans is that we do not need quite to politicize the issue of the skyrocketing prices of basic commodities or the cost of living in the country. Because just the other day I was in the neighboring country, and I was able to see, if you cross over, say, for example, to Uganda today, Miriam, as we speak, the prices of petrol are way high in Uganda compared to Kenya, and it has gone to unprecedented high levels. Because in the past, Uganda, Tanzania used to be fairly affordable compared to Kenya. But today, if you went to Uganda, a liter of petrol is going to up to 200, over 210 or thereabout shillings per liter. But in Kenya here, we are at 160 per liter, which means the government is really trying its level best to cushion its people from the high cost of living. And understanding that fuel is the driving force behind the production, and therefore when fuel goes up, of course every other commodity, every other production, of course goes up, and it boils down to the cost of basic commodities in any part of this country. So Miriam, I think the government is really trying, but when it comes to the issue of the Unga politics, Miriam, I think we need to get to the point where, of course, Gladwell has spoken about, we need to empower our farmers. We need to get permanent solutions to this problem. We have good land, arable for that matter. We have favorable rains in most parts of this country. And our farmers are also, we have enough manpower and people who are willing even to do cultivation of crops in the country. There's no reason absolutely as why we continue to lavish in poverty, especially when it comes to hunger. because we do not have food when we are able really to cultivate our land. But because the cost of inputs in the country has gone high, it makes it difficult even for farmers to cultivate. And even those who struggle and struggle to do farming, they do not have proper storage facilities for their farm produce. And even the prices of this farm produce are not very are not very favorable to the farmers, and therefore it discourages most farmers from carrying out this production. So it is important that even as we head into this election, the focus should be how do we get a permanent solution? Just like Uganda today, Miriam. You go to Uganda, you want cassava, you'll get it cheaply and it's available. You go to Uganda, you want a sorghum, you'll get it cheaply and it's available. You want rice, you go to Kibimba in Uganda and you find it easily and it's affordable. Don't even talk about maize, because in Uganda, they have enough for their population and even enough to feed even Kenya. So I think we only but need to make it easy for our farmers. But the issue of politicizing the cost of living, politicizing every hassle and the challenge that the people of Kenya are going through is something that is uncalled for, and politicians who are using this for political gain and mileage should be called out. And Deputy President William Ruto should not be allowed to use this as a campaign tool and win the hearts of Kenyans that he can offer the best solution to the problems we are facing. In any case, Miriam, today, if we had built the Aurora and Kimorel Dam in Elgeyo Marakwet, the people of those parts of the country will be doing farming today out of the irrigation that these dams could provide water for irrigation. Miriam, how comes that the people in Rift Valley, mostly in the North Rift, have been complaining about a lack of affordable fertilizer in the NCPBs? And while the government has subsidized this, there are few cartels who go and buy this fertilizer, hoard it, and then they sell it later at exorbitant prices. So it's about benefiting a few individuals. And you cannot quite blame this on President Uhuru Kenyatta. It's about cartels. And for us to dismantle these cartels, we must get people of high morality, people of high integrity, people who are competent and have the will to take this country forward. And those people, those group of people cannot be found in the Kenya Kwanza coalition, Miriam. I submit.
Very well. Is there anybody else before we move on to the next topic? Okay, so let's look at our last topic for discussion today, and that is on the Uganda transition. And Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has signed a cooperation agreement with the leader of an opposition party and former challenger Norbert Mao. The pact between the ruling National Resistance Movement Party and the Democratic Party was signed on Wednesday following a meeting between the two leaders at State House in Entebbe. President Museveni praised the leaders of the Democratic Party for the gesture of mature, foresighted and constructive politics. Mr. Mao has been leader of the opposition party since 2010. He stood out for his eloquence and anti-establishment stance, but the party has suffered internal divisions for several years, which have led to a significant drop in public appeal. Ahead of the 2021 general election, he lost several party leaders to the newly formed National Unity Platform. Mr. Mao's backers will see this development as a smart bipartisanship, but critics will feel vindicated after accusing him of causing up to Mr. Museveni in the last elections. Other critics could also see this as another attempt by the president to weaken the opposition further. Previously, he has successfully wooed opposition politicians by offering them positions in government. So that is just a bit of background information as far as some latest political movements in Uganda are concerned. But we can look at now the main story, and that is the Ugandan transition as far as its politics is concerned. So maybe Doc will start us off on that, and then we can continue, or somebody else.
You are an expert on Uganda. Then you are throwing it on me, Miriam. You are the one on Uganda. You know where my side of butter is on this situation. Perhaps Tawish can deeper, but let me open up on something. There is something which is not very, very good, but I won't say it here today. Way back in 2005-6, when we went with Mao, to the bush to go and look for Mr. Konyi. The first thing that Mr. Konyi did was to ask us why Mao was in the delegation. Hey. So we said, why are you asking, sir? He said, no, because he's not well. He looks sickly. That's what he said. You know, and the Mao stood up and said, yes, I'm not well. Then Konyi said, I'll look for medicine, some herbs. You know, the trees in Garamba Park. There are some trees here that cure your disease. But before I cure your disease, you look like you're a traitor. Hey. So some of us looked at because I was the only non-Luo man in the delegation. Non-Luo. The rest were Luo, Acholi, Lango, and the rest, Teso. But I was the only one who stood by them to say, I will stand to stop the Luo community going down. So I was not surprised when this man said, but you are a traitor. You have come in this delegation to betray people. Hey. Everybody said, oh, no, but they started talking their language. Omera, I said, okay. Me, I don't know. Now, it confirmed something that I had already picked in 1993 when Mao came to do an investigation on the helicopters that were bought, that were faulty. They came with a commission of inquiry and they called us, even the politicians in exile, to come and give evidence. And the community people from Acholi said, no, Matanga, don't go to that delegation because Mao is a traitor. Look, politics of Africa, Miriam, ends up that way. Some of us, if we had been people who want money, we would be in government today, and you would be actually welcoming for me at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in a very nice, organized manner, but serving credentials that are each day going down, and whom people will say, this thing is going down. So it is a transition. That is the word I told Mugabe. Make a transition. You never know. There are people saying you now have to bring people from Eastern Province. Because we are the only people who are never changed. Some of us are diehards of Milton Obote. Even when he has died several years, Matanga still has got his uniform of Uganda People's Congress in his house. And my ID card, which I got in 1968 as a party member. So perhaps things have come to a halt. Perhaps Umofia clan, there is a white man who has brought milk and given to a bicycle. You know, when you ride the bicycle and you pour water on the oil and water, what liquid comes out gradually? What color does it come out? Have you ever ridden a bicycle?
Yes.
What liquid comes out of the chain if you pour oil and water?
Is it black?
No, white. White. Oil and water, if you mix them, you'll have a white substance. So this chain, the Mafia clan people thought it was a chain producing oil and milk. So the Mafia clan said the white man has come with a bicycle that drinks our milk in the villages. Yet in actual sense, it was oil mixed with water. If a car breaks its gasket, Miriam, it is the car. I wish you know gasket of the car that all of you have cars. If the car mixes oil with the gasket in the engine, the thing becomes whitish, or brownish, but white with like oil. That way you have mixed with tea leaves. So we knew that I've never taken him serious. He has ever come to Nairobi to talk to me. He wants to talk to us. I've always dodged him. So he's now a Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs of Uganda. And that's a plum post which can keep transition. You know, it is a plum post that can help transitionally. And you know, after the death of Olanya in northern Uganda, President Museveni needed another powerful figure that he can run around. And that is one of the reasons he has been given the job. And I have no quarrels. Let the younger man eat the money and eat. But there is one thing in the political science and the political history, that revolutions have no timetable. That's all I can end there, Miriam. There's no timetable for revolution. As you sit in that good studio today, there now, you might be told you might not go back in that beautiful house of yours. And that will be, Miriam, look at me look, that will be the end of me, of you. Revolutions have no timetable. Nasema, you are not crossing that road to go back. Even if you have left a dog which is very hungry, inaweza kufia kwa nyumba kwa juu ya njaa, but you might not see it. In 1985, some of us, even there were no mobile phones, but we had just arrived in Kampala from Nairobi. And I made a telephone call to my house to say, go down in the market and buy nyama, mzuri ile. I was very, Kapitanui, I was like a Kapitanui here. Very slender guy, tall, handsome. And unfortunately now, Tawish laughs at me, said, Mzee Baba, what has happened? But don't worry, these things don't happen to us. And Gladwell, when he looks at me, said, this man, this could be. I was a very handsome guy. So I called my wife and I said, Esther, I will be able to come, and what can I bring for you on the way to Mbale? My first wife name was Esther. I don't want to say much about the condition which led to her not being there, because I've healed. Now I told her I'm coming. Oh, guess what? What did you bring me from Nairobi? You know, that time in Nairobi there was what we call kitenge. Eh? If you have arrived in Nairobi, you buy the wife kitenge. This kitenge. Eh? I bought the kitenge for. Do you know that kitenge became my shuka? William, this is the truth in the name of God. The kitenge that I bought in Nairobi became my shuka on the way when we reached Buhungu Stadium with mosquitoes. You know, mosquitoes also feasted on us at night, because there was no room for a house. We ended in Buhungu Stadium at about 8 o'clock. 8, 9. We just took over Busia border post. That Busia border. No, not even the Kenya Police GSU could stop us, because the amount of the amount of guns we had, if you stopped us, then we can go with you and then we can explain later. Because we are looking for safety. And we entered with the president. I came with that shuka. I still have that shuka from 1985. So revolutions have no timetable. I think I can stop there. Revolutions have no timetable. Mao, let him eat the money. I can't blame him. He's a younger man whose wife is working with the president's office already. Now why do you stop him? The wife works in State House. Let them eat. Yeah. That is all. I think, I don't know whether you want to add there anything else, but for me, I want to say bye-bye. I am in a protective area, and let's keep on doing the good Harambe for Azimio. Azimio la umoja itafanya kazi until we win this election. However bad they are, I have made my stand. I've made my stand on the presidential candidature. People coming to be interviewed in segments, that is also my stand. It is not worth it to go. Let's wait and see whether Wachikoya will appear, because he seemed to be saying he's not interested in, he's interested in debating with Ruto. So the organizers are trying to fumble up. I don't know when they have come to a decision, but that is all I can say from my end. Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you, and God bless all of you until we meet on Sunday.
All right, Doc, thank you so much. Is there anybody else who would like to add something on Uganda or anything before we wind up? All right, I guess not. So thank you so much for watching us this morning. This has been the Unfiltered. The week that was, we have been following on some stories that have been developing, especially on the IEBC, and we shall continue to keep you up to date with any new information as we receive or as it trickles down. And with just about 18 days to go to our general election, we are on crucial time right now, but you know, we hopefully the IEBC will give us more details on this, but we'll see how this will continue unfolding. Thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi, Sam Oltawish, Gladwell Kirago, and Kiptanui Savania, and also Paul Onyango. Javan Karan just tried joining there, but his connection was not very good. And of course, Dr. David Matanga. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on Sunday, 2 p.m. East African time, with Africa Showdown, where we shall be looking at some topics and the latest stories from across the continent of Africa. Bye-bye and enjoy your weekend.